Morning. I'm gonna go over some market news with you guys real quick this morning. Want to kind of just come on for about a half hour, 45 minutes on this Sunday, kind of give you guys some market overviews and things like that, and move on, move on with the Sunday. So with that, go ahead and watch this little intro, and we'll get after it. Add myself back to the stream here. So we'll go over some of this market news and get after this thing a little bit this morning. Like I said, I'm gonna stay with you guys for about a half hour, 45 minutes, and then I'm gonna go ahead and get on with my Sunday and get ready for some football. So with that, we'll go ahead and look at the bubbles. Bubbles look mixture, a little red, a little blue. I mean, a little red, a little green today. So the market's just kind of holding on this morning. It's not really doing much. It's kind of stagnant. It's kind of stale. Actually, we had a little bit of a baby pump, and now it looks like people are taking profits. The market's kind of settling in a little bit, but not anything big, not any big movements going on. Go ahead and take a look at some of this price action. Bitcoin right now sitting at $16,957. This thing was around 17,100. Was probably where it topped off at, somewhere in there past couple days. So not a lot of movement going on. Good morning, Marty. How are you? So not a lot of movement going on with the Bitcoin market right now. Ethereum sitting at around $1,255. So it's staying steady pretty much. You look at the price action here, very little movement over the 24, like 1.3%. So it's staying pretty level across the board. BNB actually didn't have as big a run as Bitcoin and Ethereum did during this little baby pump here, and starting to pull back a little bit. But it's still sitting at $289, which isn't too bad for BNB right now. We've seen this over the past week or so, right around at 301 level. So it's kind of pulling back a little bit. People are taking profits, things like that. So the market's not really moving too much right now. It's kind of boring, kind of stale. XRP sitting at 38 cents. We've seen this up around 40 cents and then had a little pullback as well. So you kind of see the same song and dance all the way through this chart, where we had some pumps and now some pullback. Doge, same thing, had a major pump. People started to take profits, a little pullback in the market here. Nothing significant, but just enough to put it in the red. Polygon went on a nice little run, and now we're starting to see some pullback here. There was a big Polygon whale that transferred. I think it was like 10,000, something like that, to Coinbase wallet, and I don't know if he's looking to sell it or looking to add to his position there. We'll see what that whale is looking to do with that Polygon. But Polygon sitting at 91 cents. So it had itself a nice little run, and now people are just kind of like taking profits and chilling out a little bit. Same thing down through here. It's a typical Sunday, guys. Like, the market itself is just kind of stale. We're just kind of waiting for the Monday markets to open. Stellar, same thing. We're sitting around 86 cents. we did, I mean, 8 cents. We did see this get up to 9 cents at one point, and now it just kind of pulled back a little bit with the market. Um, let's see, go down through here. Chronos really struggling right now. Sitting at like 6 cents. Um, I wouldn't be surprised to see this dip down into the 5 cent level at some point, high 5 cent level. Um, be a good buy there, I guess. Quant sitting at $127. Quant's had itself a nice little run lately, and if you're in MetaMonkey AI and I am, you know that Quant's going to be included in the cold wallet storage piece of that. So that's good for the MetaMonkey AI family. But Quant had itself a nice little run. People are starting to take some profits. So market's pretty stale. Hey Tim, how are you? I'm good, Tim. Um, good. Just looking at this stale market on a Sunday. Pretty stale. So we'll get into some other stuff here, some news here in a little while. But the fear and greed index right now is sitting at 26. 1 point down from yesterday, but it's still fear. There's still fear in the market, so which makes sense with everything that's going on. Really makes sense that there's some fear in the market right now. But that's okay, because when you get back over here to this price action, it, if you really believe in some of these blue chips that you're investing in, like these are some good prices to just start accumulating your blue chips right now. Blue chips probably are the long-term play right now for the bull run, and these are good accumulation prices. I think I just think that right now the market is so down, it's so beat up, that if you have the ability to take advantage of it and you really believe in what the projects are doing up here in these top 50 or so, then they're great accumulation points. So I think if you can get in and really just start throwing a little bit of money in here and a little bit of money in there to projects you believe in, you're really going to benefit in the long run when this market starts to turn around. But let's not kid ourselves. This market's taken a pretty good beating over the past 12 months. So, but again, I like to buy when the market's in fear. And the market's in fear right now, and this is kind of when I like to start to stack my bags up a little bit and just wait. I'm a long term person, so over the long term, I do believe that this market will turn around, and that's when you make your money. Let's go ahead and look at the market cap and see where we're at this morning. Crypto market cap sitting about 8 billion, 8.5 billion. A little bit down again from yesterday, but it kind of makes sense that it's a little down when you look at the crypto bubbles and a lot of red being there, but not a big huge pullback, just kind of stale and hanging in there. So not a big huge market cap pullback, but we still have to see $1 trillion market cap at some point in order for us to really start to dig out of this hole. And we've been hovering around this 8 billion market cap for a while. So that just means that there's really no new money coming in. There's really nothing going on in the market. It's just stale and people are just swapping money back and forth. There's really nothing new going on in the market, and we need an influx. We need an influx of money from an investor standpoint, and for this market to really even think about taking off. So, kind of where we are right now as a market. So, deal with it. Money will come. It's just a matter of getting the fear out of the market and shaking the players out that are really bringing a lot of negativity to the crypto market itself. And here's one of them. Our boy Sam Bankman-Fried is the Department of Justice calls for an independent probe on FTX bankruptcy. this is actually, I believe it's a good thing, because now the Department of Justice is getting involved in saying to Sam, basically, come on, let's really investigate what you really did and what's really going on, and let's get a good look at this, because it just doesn't look right. Let me share with you guys some clips that I have of Sam's interviews here, that I think really kind of highlight what we're really talking about. So Tim or Marty, when I play this, let me know if you guys can hear this, and I'll kind of explain to you what's actually being said in this interview and Sam's actually saying as we kind of go through this.
Because otherwise you would have had to have the USDC somewhere.
Hold on, let's start it from the beginning. Can you guys hear this?
Because that makes sense as to why there were no more Bitcoin to withdraw, where customers like that I know had Bitcoin balances, because those Bitcoin actually didn't exist, because it was just notional. You were just letting us buy notional tokens that didn't actually really exist.
Yeah, or another way of phrasing that.
Because otherwise you would have had to have the USDC.
So in this clip right here, Sam Bankman-Fried actually admits to. All right, thanks a lot, Marty. You guys can hear it. Thanks. So in that clip, if you really catch what he's saying, and I'll play it for you again, this is really big, because he basically admits to some things that were going on at FTX that technically are fraud.
Because that makes sense as to why there were no more Bitcoin to withdraw, where customers like that I know had Bitcoin balances, because those Bitcoin actually didn't exist, because it was just notional. You were just letting us buy notional tokens that didn't actually really exist.
So what they're saying in this particular clip is, and Sam agreed that this is what was going on. If somebody bought or deposited, let's say, a Bitcoin or an Ethereum or any other token on the FTX platform, what was happening was Alameda Research was going in and scooping that Bitcoin or Ethereum off of FTX. And then basically what you had in your account on FTX was a synthetic Bitcoin that didn't really hold any value. So when it came time for people to withdraw their funds off of FTX, they weren't there to withdraw, because Alameda Research had a back door into FTX that allowed them to come in and scoop up the assets that were either being bought or actually deposited onto FTX. So Sam admitted to this. So that's right. Like the damn stream. Like the damn stream. I like it. So Sam actually admitted to this in the interview here, which, you know, at this point, when you do a press tour and you start to admit to some of these things, you kind of have to open up an investigation. And I'll play for you guys like another clip of one of his interviews that we can kind of talk about what's really going on and what Sam's really saying as we move along here.
I made a lot of mistakes, or things I would give anything to be able to do over again.
Sam Bankman-Fried on the record in his first big-name legacy media interview since the collapse of his cryptocurrency exchange, FTX.
I didn't ever try to commit fraud on anyone. I was excited about the prospects of FTX a month ago. I saw it as a thriving, growing business. I was shocked by what happened.
SBF gave this interview to Andrew Sorkin of the New York Times, appearing virtually from the Bahamas at the New York Times Dealbook Summit, where other headliners included the president of Ukraine, Mark Zuckerberg, and Janet Yellen. In the talk, SBF shared that he was practically broke, down to one credit card, and having a, quote, bad month. And here's what he said to George Stephanopoulos in a sit-down interview with ABC News, painting everything that went wrong with FTX as poor risk management, a mistake rather than a crime.
I wasn't even trying. Like, I wasn't spending any time or effort trying to manage risk on FTX. And that obviously that's a mistake.
Admission.
What?
That's a pretty stunning admission.
So what Sam's trying to say to people when he's talking about poor risk management inside FTX is the fact that he didn't know what was going on and he didn't have anything. And he wasn't at fault. The only thing that he was at fault for is poor risk management. I don't know, giving the omission that he just had from above, that that can't be true.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what to say. Like, what happened.
At times, he appeared to stumble through his answers and was visibly shaking during parts of the New York Times interview.
Did you know that FTX deposits were used to pay off Alameda creditors?
I don't know of FTX deposits being used to pay off Alameda creditors.
SBF continues to claim that the U.S. version of FTX is solvent and fully funded, and that he doesn't understand why withdrawals for American customers couldn't be reopened. He said he regrets filing for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. With the international FTX platform, SBF kept going back to his errors calculating risk and liabilities. And as for the blurred lines between Alameda Research and FTX,
was there commingling of funds?
I didn't knowingly commingle funds. And again, one piece of this, you have the margin trading. You have, customers borrowing from each other. Alameda is one of those. I was frankly surprised by how big Alameda's position was, which points to another failure of oversight on my part.
So when Sam says that he's surprised at how big Alameda's position was, understand that Sam was the biggest investor in Alameda, and it was actually his company that he owned, and Caroline was just the CEO, but Sam actually owned the company. So he must, to own a company and not know what's going on or not know the position is pretty much not okay.
no criminal charges have been filed. And as for whether he's worried about going to jail,
there are a lot of things that are worrying me right now. And, as best as possible, I'm trying to focus on what I can do going forward to be helpful.
many aren't buying SBF's explanations or his expressions of remorse. And the media themselves have been criticized for their handling of SBF in the wake of the FTX collapse.
It felt at times like a therapy session. He took every tough question. He wanted to speak out.
The mainstream media is giving this person a platform to further manipulate the public into thinking the perpetrator is the victim. Frankly, this is a distraction.
I just don't think that you can afford to be complicit in these things going forward. I hope that the whole Bitcoin space remembers this.
Some argue legacy media are letting SBF.
So, in short, Sam is taking this media tour, and it's kind of like this poor me guy mentality that I didn't know what was going on. It was a poor risk management on my part. I had no idea what was going on in the company. I didn't know what Alameda was doing. So I don't know who buys that. I don't buy that. We're talking about a group of like 5 to 10 people who were all graduated from Ivy League schools that knew exactly what was going on, that knew exactly how to trade, that knew exactly how to manipulate markets. And to now say that, you have no idea what's going on, that's a little rough. It's a little hard argument to have, but you can see Sam Bankman-Fried's defense starting to set up on this as he rolls out his media tour. His defense is that he didn't know what was going on, and it was just a poor risk management. Poor risk management is not against the law, but ignorance of the law is against the law. So he's trying to say, he had no idea, he didn't know, and it's not my fault. But one of the keys that he says in there too is that FTX US is fully solvent, fully ready to go. There shouldn't be any issues, and he doesn't understand why withdrawals can't take place on FTX US. But you don't put a company in bankruptcy if it's fully solvent. And he's the one who filed bankruptcy for FTX, and he put FTX US in the bankruptcy filing. So if FTX was fully solvent, if FTX US was fully solvent and withdrawals could take place, then why did he put it inside of the bankruptcy filing for FTX? That just doesn't make any sense. And as you can see from that interview, answering them questions for him is pretty tough. And he's got his head down. He's not really looking. He's stumbling over all of his answers. He doesn't really give clear answers. So that anybody who knows anything about interviewing people just knows that that's just a lie. Tim, you think he's a pawn? I don't think he's a pawn. My interpretation of him right now is that he's out here covering his ass. And he's covering up what he did, and he's trying to put a spin on it so that he has public, so that he's looked good inside, for public, and I think this is what this media tour is all about. Is it's a perception thing for him, and he wants to be perceived as the savior of crypto. He wants to be perceived as the guy who tried to save crypto, tried to make crypto better, but didn't have the expertise to do so, right? And I think that's his main focus. Because when you go back and you listen to this clip right here, and you listen to this clip and you listen to how they executed this from FTX to Alameda, and he admits this. This is not a sign of a dummy. This is a sign of a very smart business people that have put together a very elaborate scheme.
Because that makes sense as to why there were no more Bitcoin to withdraw, where customers like that I know had Bitcoin balances, because those Bitcoin actually didn't exist, because it was just notional. You were just letting us buy notional tokens that didn't actually really exist.
Yeah, or another way of phrasing that.
Because otherwise you would have had to have the USDC somewhere.
So when you listen to how that elaborate scheme took place, where he set up a system where people that deposited and bought Bitcoin, Ethereum, and any other asset on the FTX platform, that Alameda had a back door where they would come in and scoop these assets to pay their creditors. That's not a sign of a dummy. That's the sign of a very smart businessman. What's up, Chaka? How are you? SBS definitely not incompetent. I think, Tim, that's a theory. I mean, he could be, he really, he could be set in there as the fall guy, but I just don't see it. I think SBF was in a scheme, and he got himself caught, and now he's back spinning, and he's trying to blame it all on Caroline. He's trying to blame it all on his incompetence. He's trying to blame it all on his lack of oversight. I don't think that this really has anything to do with him being the pawn for the government. I think a lot of this has to do with him. He just got caught, and now he's trying to sway public perception back to his side. Because I'm going to show you this clip too, and just look at the fall from grace that this guy had, and how everybody was praising SBF as the savior of crypto and the savior of the market. And in my opinion, everybody who's in this clip owes the American people an apology.
Sam Bankman-Fried is really becoming the industry's lifeline during a crisis lately. I'm fascinated, endlessly fascinated with Sam Bankman-Fried's role in all of this.
You've been now described as the JP Morgan, if you will, of the crypto business.
A lot of people called you the savior of crypto, the patron saint of crypto,
The Michael Jordan of crypto, if you will.
Sam Bankman-Fried. Sam Bankman-Fried, the JP Morgan of
SBF, JPM. Do you know SBF? I think it's cool that the guy has just initials, SBF.
Someone on Twitter calling him the hero right now of the industry. There's comparisons to Warren Buffett back in the financial crisis. Or if you go way back, JP Morgan in the panic of 1907, bailing out the banks before the Fed was even created.
Sam Bankman-Fried is trying to play the role of JP Morgan, the original JP Morgan.
One key figure we've talked about has emerged to help stabilize the ecosystem. That is Sam Bankman-Fried.
We talk about him a lot.
Yeah.
Sam Bankman-Fried.
Is he the Jay Gould of our era, or is he the JP Morgan of our era?
I think it's yet to be determined.
Is he Vanderbilt?
He could be. Is he Harry? Possibly.
So when you listen to everybody praising him, and how great he was, and that he was the savior of crypto, and that he was the new JP Morgan of crypto, and all this stuff, you know, a lot of people listen to what these guys say. So I'm not saying that they should have known what was going on, because I think to know what was really going on in FTX, you really had to be behind the scenes and really know how these elaborate schemes were set up. But what I can say is that at some point in time, people have to come out and say, you know what, guys, we got this one wrong. We apologize and we're sorry. And that has yet to be done with some of these big, huge influencers like you just seen. And it, you know, sometimes you just got to say you got it wrong, and they got it wrong. And they owe that to the people to come out and say that. You look at FTX as a brand, they were crypto.com as a brand. When people say crypto, a lot of people that are in crypto every day, they know of crypto.com because of its media blitz and the backing that they basically paid for through commercials and UFC fights. And, you know, they really branded themselves like this. And FTX really branded itself through a lot of these big, huge influencers and huge investment firms as being one of the safest plays, and Sam Bankman-Fried being one of the top dogs in crypto. And, you know, sometimes, you know, you get that wrong, and they got it wrong, and they owe the people an apology. And that's just kind of how I feel about the whole situation. But when the Department of Justice is going to start to open this investigation, and this is good for the FTX holders. It's good for FTX. It's good for not good for FTX, I mean, but it's good for the crypto industry in general. But what it's going to do is it's going to open the door to a lot of criticism. It's going to open the door to a lot of, if they actually file the investigation and actually do it correctly, it's going to open the door to a lot of questions. And that could actually set the cryptocurrency industry back a little bit more than where they are. But I'm not mad at that, because I think in order for the crypto industry to move forward, we have to shake some of these bad actors out. We got to shake some of these guys out, and so that we can move forward in a productive way. I don't believe he was the fall guy. I believe he is a can man. I don't believe he's a fall guy either, Chaga. I think that he knew exactly what he was doing. I think that him and Alameda Research had this elaborate scheme going on, and they really got caught. And you know, I think Sam knew exactly what he was doing. I think Carolina knew exactly what she was doing. I think that the people that wrote the computer programs for these backdoors knew exactly what they were doing. And I just think that this was one of them schemes that they thought that they were too smart to get caught until they actually got caught. And this is Bernie Madoff all over again. The way that he did this. This is what you call a Ponzi scheme. I call it a rug pull. I think he rug pulled the whole crypto industry. I think it was right there in front of everybody's face and nobody's seen it. But this is why I made a video yesterday about decentralization and why crypto was created in the first place, and how when you look at things, everything that's going on in the crypto market right now that's bringing the crypto market down is because of centralization. The bankruptcies that are going on right now, the exchanges that are falling right now, Three Arrows Capital giving out bad loans, all this stuff is even Genesis. It's all based around centralization platforms. None of this that's going on right now is based around blockchain technology or decentralized platforms. Everything is centralized. Everything's based on the centralized platforms. And cryptocurrency was built to be a decentralized platform. It was built to live on the blockchain. It was built for transparency. And when you go to a centralized environment, you take the true meaning of crypto out of crypto. But the problem is onboarding and offboarding your assets, your money, basically, getting it from your bank accounts to the decentralized platforms, and vice versa, getting it off the decentralized platforms to your bank account. That's the issue right now, why we can't be fully decentralized. But crypto was never built to be centralized. It was never built to be on these centralized platforms, and these centralized platforms are the problem right now. They're the issue. He definitely is a con man. Sam Bankman-Fried definitely is a con man. He conned a lot of people. He's definitely a con man. He conned a lot of athletes. He conned a lot of high profile people. He conned a lot of investors. He's the number one con man in the industry right now, and there's just no doubt about it. He's a con man that was running a Ponzi scheme, and at the end of the day, he rug pulled the whole industry. This is the biggest rug pull probably in cryptocurrency history, in my opinion, is FTX, and that's why I cover it so much, because I think this is the biggest rug pull in history. So I don't think there's anything bigger. This thing reaches out to so many different platforms, so many different projects, so many different investors that you cannot help but to cover what is going on, because it affects so many other things in the industry. So I just think that this is the biggest that the cryptocurrency industry has seen. So I'll go ahead and stop sharing this so we can just kind of have a conversation. But yeah, I definitely think Sam did it, and he did it to a lot of people, and at the end of the day, we're going to pay the whole industry is going to pay the price for it. But yeah, I'm a big decentralized person when it comes to crypto, and I think we need to start steering this conversation back to what crypto was really truly meant for, and that was decentralization and living on the blockchain. And as this thing continually falls out, I want you guys to pay attention to what exactly is falling out? What exactly is falling down? It's not decentralization. It is decentralization piece of crypto that is dragging the cryptocurrency market down. Centralization, there's no, it is the wild west. They're leveraging your money, they're leveraging their tokens, they're leveraging, there's no checks and balances from your deposits to your withdrawals. It's one of these things where, you know, they call the decentralization the wild west, but really what's really the wild west is really centralization. You got people like Kevin O, yeah, Kevin O'Leary. Yeah, and didn't Kevin O'Leary come out and say that he would invest in Sam Bankman-Fried again if given the opportunity, and Sam could fix this, that he would invest in him again? I mean, these guys that say these things and do these things, they should come out and apologize to people. They couldn't ask for a better. Yeah, I agree, Tim, to a certain extent. Paid influencers, yeah, but they don't want to call themselves paid influencers. When you get to the Kevin O'Leary status and all them guys, they're not paid influencers. They would never say that. They would say, you know, that they're just looking out for, you know, the people. And, you know, Kevin O'Leary and them guys are paid a large sum of money to make Sam Bankman-Fried look like he is the good guy here. There's a lot of people that are paid good money to make Sam Bankman-Fried look like the good guy. And if you pay attention to what is being said, not only through mainstream media, but also through Sam himself, is they're really trying to pin this on Caroline. They're really trying to pin this on Alameda Research. And Sam is saying that he had no idea what was going on in Alameda Research, but they're trying to pin this on him, on her, I should say. And, you know, at the end of the day, will that strategy work? I don't know. If it does work, it's a shame. It's really an injustice to her, because I think she's just as guilty as him, and I think that they should go down together. The whole crew should go down together. Not, you know, but we'll see. I mean, Sam has donated a lot of money to a lot of high-profile people, and we'll see if that allows him to escape prosecution. And you have to remember, too, that Sam is fighting to keep this case with the Bohemian government because he doesn't want to face prosecution in the United States. So, you know, that's something that, you know, people can't lose sight of, because the laws are very, very much different over there than they are over here. So that's one of the reasons why he's really trying to keep that over there, is, you know, he really, you know, he doesn't want to face prosecution over here. And don't lose sight of that either, as we move on with this Department of Justice investigation. Is a lot of what Sam did was on the international excuse me, on the international side of FTX, not on FTX US. So as this Department of Justice arm, you know, calls for an independent probe on the FTX bankruptcy, understand that they can only look at FTX US. they cannot look at FTX Global. So it's going to take a international investigation for them guys, for us to really figure out what happened with FTX Global. The United States is only good for FTX US, and that's it. And if Sam's saying that that's fully solvent and withdrawal should be able to take place, then you know what? Then open it back up and let people get their money out of there, and let's look at the investigation. Let's see what happened. But maybe FTX US, is solvent, but we will see. But understand, they can't look at FTX Global, and that's a big deal because the majority of the bad stuff happened on FTX Global, not FTX US, and there's still $9 billion of missing money off of FTX that nobody knows where it is. And Sam says that he only has $100,000 in his bank account. The key word to that is in his bank account. Where does that $9 billion live? Does it live in DeFi wallets for the team? That's yet to be seen, and we'll figure it out. But hopefully they'll figure it out. But my assumption, and I'm just making an assumption here, is that that $9 billion lives in DeFi wallets between the 10 people that lived in his apartment. That's my assumption. So, be careful how you read between the lines of what Sam says and what everybody else says, and how the media is making that spin, because there's a lot of missing money that we need to come up with. So with that, guys, go ahead and let's take a look here. Again, the market continues, looks like it's turning a little bit greener as we're sitting here talking from the bubbles itself. We'll go ahead and take a look at some price action. Looks like Bitcoin is trying to hit that 17,000 mark today. It's only $1 off, so it's well on its way. And it looks like Ethereum's trying to get up to this $1,260 level. It seems like as the morning moves on a typical Sunday, as things move on, the market seems to be digging itself out a little bit. And later on tonight, we'll take a look at the pre-markets, because this will kind of set the stage for Monday to how the market's going to come out. So later on tonight, we can have a look and set that stage for tomorrow morning. But it looks like BNB is coming up a little bit. Looks like the whole market in general is going to come up a little bit as the day moves on. XRP, looks like it's going to hit that 39-cent level, maybe 40-cent level today. We'll see. But yeah, Polygon continues to outperform the market. It continues to run. It continues to outperform the percents of the market. So not bad. Not bad for Polygon. I would love to see Polygon break this dollar mark. I don't think it's gonna. I think you're gonna see, as this thing moves up a little bit, you'll see some sell-off. You'll see some profit taking, just because you're gonna have a week or so. You're gonna have another Fed meeting. So looking at a 50 basis point increase, we don't know what that's going to do to the market, how the market's going to react to that. I believe 50 basis points is already built into the market, but we'll see. Anything higher than 50 basis points, I think you're going to see a major dip in the market. The jobs report didn't help that, because we're showing a huge strength in jobs right now, and that just gives the federal government more runway to continue with their rate increases because of the strong job market. But we'll see. We'll see if we get that 50 basis points. That's where I think we're going to land. Solana continues to get just absolutely beat up due to their FTX exposure. FTX owned 13% of the Solana in circulating supply. I believe they still hold 13% of the Solana in circulating supply. So if that's true, and that's from everything that I've read and everything research that I've done, is that they hold that 13%, they can dump that at any time, which would actually kill the Solana market. Or during bankruptcy, if this gets dumped, it could actually dump the market as well. So be careful with Solana. I'm not saying it's a bad deal. I'm not saying it's something that people shouldn't invest in. I mean, everybody has their own preference, but I don't think $13 is the floor for Solana at all. I think there's going to be some downward movement on Solana. So, I mean, I'm not saying that I won't get in if the price goes down a little bit. But if I do get in, it'll be for a quick, it'll be for a cheap buy and probably a better sell. I can't think. Sell off will be on a big. I don't think the sell off, of Solana right now for FTX would be huge. Just because they have a new CEO, they have new people that are actually overseeing FTX, and actually it's in bankruptcy. So I'm not quite sure what they can sell or how they can sell it or at what frequency. I think it's probably all tied up in the bankruptcy hearings, but still 13% of circulating supply is 13% of circulating supply, no matter how you look at that. And you always have to be weary of that when you're investing in something. You have to know that, either 13% of that supply could be dumped at any time, or 13% of that supply could be dumped at bankruptcy. For tax purposes. Yeah, and there's a lot going on with tax purposes right now too, Tim. When you look at it right now is the time of the year where people actually take their losses on their crypto. They'll sell for a loss for tax write-offs. So it's that balancing game that I think we all play. We all play this balancing game when it comes to taxes, and whether or not it's beneficial for all of us to kind of take a loss on some of our crypto and write it off, or if it's better for us to hold it and hold it for that 12 months and not to pay them capital gains tax on that. So I think there's always a balancing act that only certified accountants can tell you what to do with it and what the best move is. But yeah, there's always that tax purpose that plays into everybody's strategy and plays into everybody's buying and sell strategy when it comes to December, because what you don't want to do is you don't want to get caught. I mean, not only FTX or any other business or any other, but even us retail investors, you don't want to get caught in a bad investment, or an investment that you could have wrote off on your taxes and came back and bought at a much lower price and took the hit on your taxes for the sell, and then came back and bought in for a much lower price. Where it would have benefited you. I'm not a tax expert, so I'm being real careful here. Where it could have benefited you on your taxes. So I think we all go through that. Not only institutional investors, but also just your average everyday investor. So we all have to look at that. But yeah, for an FTX situation who's holding on to a big huge supply of Solana, there's a little bit more at play than just taxes. It really is a bankruptcy thing, and it really is a tax thing, and it really is a creditor thing, and a liquidity thing as well. So there's a lot that goes into that. So I think just be careful with that. Be careful with Solana. So with that, guys, I'm going to let you guys go for the morning. My phone's ringing. I'm probably going to come back later on tonight, and we can look at the market, the pre-markets going into Monday, and look and see how we can anticipate opening up on Monday. So with that, guys, I'm out. Have a great Sunday morning. Enjoy watching football. Enjoy the day, and don't stare at the charts all day. Enjoy the day. Enjoy the moment. And let's make some money. Let's make some money together. Chaka, I gotta get at you a little bit later. See if you want to come on. And we can maybe do a stream together or something. But I'll get at you later. Later, guys. Thank you, Tim. Thank you, Marty. Thank you guys for always showing up. Appreciate you guys. Appreciate you guys being here. Appreciate you guys supporting me. Appreciate you guys always showing up for me. And appreciate the birthday wishes as well yesterday. And with that, guys, I'm out. I'll see you guys a little bit later on tonight, and we can talk about what the pre-markets look like for Monday. Have a great day. Bye.